Have you ever wondered how a single man can shake an entire nation's financial system? Imagine, a single person orchestrating a scam so grand that it sends shockwaves through an entire country's economic structure. Unbelievable, isn't it? Yet it's not a fragment of fiction but a chilling reality from the year 1992, an event that unveiled the vulnerabilities of a system we so deeply trust. This is the story of the 1992 scam and the man behind it, Harshad Mehta. Our story begins with a man named Harshad Mehta. Born into a modest family, Mehta's journey was not one of privilege, yet his ambition was as towering as the skyscrapers that house the world's financial powerhouses. His charisma was infectious, drawing people towards him as if he were a magnet. In the bustling city of Mumbai, Mehta found his calling in the world of stocks and shares. He skyrocketed to prominence in the Bombay Stock Exchange, becoming a household name. He was known for his Midas touch, turning investments into gold with his savvy predictions. His meteoric rise was nothing short of extraordinary, earning him the nickname, the Big Bull. Mehta was the embodiment of the rags-to-riches tale, a beacon of hope for the common man. His success was a testament to the allure of the stock market, a symbol of the potential for rapid wealth creation. But beneath the surface of this success, a storm was brewing. Harshad Mehta discovered a loophole in the banking system and exploited it. A simple statement. Yet it was this discovery that led to one of the biggest financial scams in Indian history. So, how did it work? Well, it all started with the Ready Forward deal. A seemingly innocent term, Ready Forward, or RF deal, was a type of transaction where banks would lend against government securities. The catch was that the banks couldn't do these deals directly. They needed a broker. Enter Harshad Mehta, a man with charm, wit, and a keen understanding of the system's vulnerabilities. Mehta positioned himself as the middleman, the broker who could facilitate these RF deals. But instead of playing the game straight, he decided to bend the rules. He would get the lending bank to issue a bank receipt, or BR, to the borrowing bank. This BR was supposed to signify that the securities had been bought by the borrowing bank and were being held in trust by the lending bank. But here's where the plot thickens. Instead of using the funds to buy government securities for the borrowing bank, Mehta would divert them into the stock market. He would pump the money into select stocks, causing their prices to skyrocket. This created a bull market, a market on a seemingly unstoppable upward trajectory. Mehta's strategy was simple, yet effective. He would sell the stocks at their peak, pay back the banks, and pocket the difference. It was a well-oiled machine, a scheme that allowed him to siphon off billions from the banking system with relative ease. The stock market soared, investors rejoiced, and Mehta became a household name, the face of a new prosperous India. But all good things must come to an end. And so it was with Mehta's grand scheme. The system he had so skillfully manipulated began to crack under the strain of his actions. This system worked well for Mehta, until it didn't. The house of cards was bound to fall, and when it did, it sent shockwaves through the financial world. But that, dear listeners, is a story for another scene. The bubble began to burst in April 1992. It was a moment that shook the financial world to its core. This wasn't just a small hiccup in the system, this was a seismic shift that would leave long-lasting echoes. The scam was discovered almost by chance. A financial journalist by the name of Sucheta Dalal had been investigating irregularities in the Indian banking system. Her tenacity and nose for news led her to a series of transactions that didn't quite add up. She began to pull at the threads, and before long, the entire fabric of the scam unraveled before her eyes. It was a revelation that sent shockwaves through the financial world. Dalal went public with her findings, exposing the intricate web of deceit spun by Harshad Mehta. The news spread like wildfire, sparking panic and uncertainty in the stock market. Investors, big and small, watched in horror as their stocks plummeted. The market was in freefall, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. The sense of betrayal was palpable. Trust, the cornerstone of any financial institution, had been shattered. The immediate aftermath was nothing short of catastrophic. Financial losses were immense, running into billions of rupees. The impact was felt not just by the big players but by ordinary people who had put their hard-earned money into the market. Harshad Mehta, the man who had once been hailed as a financial wizard, was now the most despised figure in India. The emperor, it seemed, had no clothes. The authorities moved in swiftly. Bank accounts were frozen, assets were seized, and the once invincible Mehta found himself facing a barrage of criminal charges. The scam had been revealed and Harshad Mehta's empire began to crumble. The fallout from the scam was massive. It sent shockwaves through the Indian economy, revealing the fragility of the banking system and shattering public trust in the financial system. The immediate aftermath saw the stock market crashing, wiping out millions of dollars of investors' money in the blink of an eye. It was a rude awakening for a country that had been riding the wave of economic liberalization. This crash was not just a financial loss, it was a loss of faith in a system that was supposed to be a safe haven for people's savings. The banking system too took a severe hit. The scam exposed the loopholes and the lax regulatory mechanisms that had allowed such a massive fraud to take place. Banks found themselves under scrutiny, with their credibility at stake. It led to a major overhaul in the banking regulations, with stricter rules and tighter controls being implemented. As for public trust, it was deeply dented. The scam highlighted the risks associated with investing in the stock market, making people wary of the financial system. It took years for the public to regain confidence and start investing again. The legal consequences for Harshad Mehta were severe. He was charged with over 70 criminal offenses and more than 600 civil action suits. After spending several months in custody, Mehta was released on bail. However, the legal battles continued, and in the end, he was convicted by the Bombay High Court for his role in the scam. But the fallout didn't stop there. The scam triggered a complete overhaul of the Indian financial system. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, was given statutory powers to regulate and monitor the markets, ensuring such a scam could never happen again. The 1992 scam left a lasting impact on India, changing its financial landscape forever. It served as a harsh lesson on the perils of unchecked financial practices, leading to stronger regulations and a more vigilant approach to financial management in the country. So what can we learn from this? The 1992 scam was a wake-up call, a harbinger of the dangers lurking in the shadows of unchecked ambition and systemic failure. It wasn't just an incident, but a loud and clear signal that pointed towards the need for robust financial regulation and transparency. From this historic event, we learned that financial systems, no matter how large or seemingly invincible, are susceptible to manipulation. It underlined the importance of diligent oversight and stringent checks and balances. The scam was a brutal demonstration of what can happen when greed, opportunism, and a lack of regulatory control come together in a toxic mix. But the aftermath of the scam wasn't just about pointing fingers or assigning blame. It was about learning from the mistakes, about making sure such a catastrophe wouldn't repeat itself. It was a time for introspection, for strengthening the financial infrastructure, and for implementing reforms that would safeguard the interests of the investors and maintain the integrity of the system. In response to the scam, several significant reforms were introduced. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, or SEBI, was given statutory power, fortifying its role as the regulator of the securities market. The scam catalyzed the transition from physical shares to electronic trading, making the process more transparent and less susceptible to manipulation. The settlement system was overhauled, and stringent disclosure norms were put into place, further fortifying the financial infrastructure. These changes weren't just about preventing another scam. They were about restoring faith in the system, about signaling to the world that India was committed to a transparent, robust, and fair financial market. But perhaps the most valuable lesson from the 1992 scam is a timeless one. That unchecked ambition, no matter how alluring, can lead to catastrophic consequences. It's a lesson that transcends the realm of finance, one that holds true in every walk of life. The 1992 scam serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked ambition and systemic failure. Let's take a moment to recap the main points of our discussion. We dove into the details of the 1992 scam, exploring the man behind the scheme, his devious modus operandi, and how the plot eventually unraveled. We also discussed the fallout and the profound impact that it had on the financial world. Finally, we reflected on the lessons learned from this financial debacle. Remember, history often repeats itself, but it is our responsibility to learn from it and prevent such financial disasters in the future.